VanEck just filed for the first Solana ETF. I'm going to break down why this is important and where I see Solana going in the future. So as you can see, VanEck filed for a Solana ETF just before stock market open here. It looks like the news was released at 6:26 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This news was released, or at least this article was released. Sol is currently trading at 148, which has jumped 6% since the filing went live. It marks the first Solana ETF registration in the US. And that's 6 days after a similar product launched in Canada. And analysts are predicting that ETH ETFs would lure 5 billion of net inflows in the first 5 months. So I'm going to break down a little bit later in this video, so stick around as to why a spot ETF is so important for Solana. And keep in mind that the Ethereum ETF is probably launching next week. So why exactly is a spot ETF so important versus a futures ETF? Well, with a spot ETF, you're investing directly in Bitcoin at the spot price instead of trading a contract based on the future price. So the fund holds BTC directly, which can cause major inflows into the asset. So keep in mind, this is just an article that talks about the advantages of Bitcoin spot ETF, but everything applies to Solana as well. So we have direct price tracking, we have simple on-ramp. So now institutions and individuals who want to gain exposure to Solana will actually have that without buying the Solana themselves. So just like that, there's no self-custody concerns. A lot of people in the older generation and people who got burned last cycle don't want to deal with self-custody, but they also want to own the asset. So this is a great way to get exposure without having to do that. And regulated environment. This obviously makes people feel more comfortable, especially the older generation, investing through traditional finance. And you can just go ahead and fund your brokerage, and it's really easy to get exposure. So that's why a spot ETF is so important, and it could lead to some major inflows. I mean, clearly if they're expecting 5 billion of net inflows for the ETH ETF, Solana is going to have some major inflows as well. So we can see Solana here is pumping right now, currently to 150. We can see right when the news dropped, the price definitely pumped a lot, which was about, it looks like 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The price definitely pumped up a lot. What I wanted to take a look at, though, is take a look at the daily. And if we zoom out here, the last time Solana's RSI hit 30 on the daily was going to be in April here, which was like kind of a local bottom where we were testing some support. But the time before that was going to be all the way in September. So clearly buying Solana here when its RSI is closer to 30, which means oversold, is typically a good entry point. Obviously, it could continue to dip further, but typically it finds a good entry point. I could see Solana going to about $500 this cycle, and let me tell you guys exactly why. If you look at the Sol BTC chart, it's going to be, altcoins are going to be reliant on two different things: how far Bitcoin goes and how much money pours into altcoins. So currently right now we're sitting at a 0.002 Solana Bitcoin price. You can see here after the halving in 2020, we pumped up, and then from here to the top, we did another 10x on the Solana Bitcoin chart. So it's obviously there's diminishing returns with each cycle, but if we can just assume that Solana BTC here can go ahead and do a 5x from here, that would be a big potential for Solana to outperform Bitcoin by either anywhere from 2 to 300%. So if we target this 0.08 level, we're going to be doing a 4x from here compared to Bitcoin. And if we target this 0.10 level, we're going to be doing close to about a 330%. So keep that in mind. Obviously, no one knows where the cycle is going to top, maybe later next year or earlier next year. But if Solana does that, that could put it at about 10% of Bitcoin's market cap. So if we assume that Bitcoin goes to about a 2.5 trillion market cap, or around 125K, then we could see Solana's market cap go all the way up from about 70, I would say maybe closer to a 300 or a 250 billion market cap. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any price predictions for Solana, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.